Welcome to Lesson 7-1, Estimate Sums and Differences of Fractions. Estimating will be the key word that we need to focus in on. And to help us estimate throughout this topic, we will be using benchmark fractions of 0, a half, or a whole. So as we estimate, we will always ask ourselves, is it closer to 0, a half, or a whole? Your I can statement for this topic is, I can estimate sums and differences of fractions by using the nearest half or whole number. So once again, you're going to look at a fraction and you're going to ask yourself, is that closer to 0, a half, or a whole when we go to estimate? Super easy and lots of fun. Our next slide is our vocabulary slide, which is benchmark fraction. And you're going to be using benchmark fractions to decide whether your given fraction is going to be closer to 0, a half, or 1. That will help you. So you're going to kind of look at a number line and you will decide where your fraction is on your number line, if it's closer to a half, if it's going to be closer to a whole, or if it's going to be closer to 0. It's kind of your guiding action and very helpful when it comes to estimating. So on your solve and share this evening, your problem is Jack needs about 1.5 yards of string. He has 3 pieces of string that are different lengths. Without finding the exact amount, which 2 pieces should he choose to get closest to 1.5 yards of string? Solve this problem any way you choose. So I'm going to kind of circle the information I'm going to be needing, and it says Jack needs about 1.5 yards of string. So that's what we want it to be equal to, because that's how much string he wants. So what 2 fractions are we going to use that's going to get us closest to 1.5 yards? He has 3 pieces of string that are different lengths. Here are our 3 pieces over here. And we don't need to find the exact amount, but we want to know which 2 pieces should he choose to get us closest to 1.5 yards of string. So we're going to underline the question, which 2 pieces of string should he choose to get us closest to 1.5 yards of string? And we're going to estimate right now by using benchmark fractions. So if I have a half of a yard, and I have my number line, well, a half of a yard would be here. 1/3, you think of 1/3, just so you guys know, it's about 30 and 1/3%. So it's kind of right in the middle, but a half is 50%. So clearly that's the closest to that half amount. And 7/8, well, that is 8/8 is 1 whole. So if you talk about 7/8, that would be about right here, which would be really close to 1 whole. The 2 fractions I would use would be 7/8 plus 1/2 would get us about 1.5 yards. If we look at Samantha's work, Samantha stated that both a half and 1/3 are close to a half. She is right, but a half, clearly, since it's a half, is closer to a half more than 1/3 is. And 7/8 is going to be closest to a whole. So she should choose 7/8 and also a half. Vincent's my kind of work here. Vincent's doing the number line, and he is showing that 7/8 is closest to 1 whole and that a half is closest to a half. So those would be the 2 ones we would want to go with. So go Vincent. So now I want you to summarize your thinking below. I want you to decide if you were kind of using the fraction strips or just the number line with your benchmarks of 0, a half, and 1 to help you understand your problem. And also, guys, when it comes to fractions, we need to understand that when the numerator and the denominator are the same, that's going to be equal to 1 whole. So that kind of helps you when you go into a benchmark fraction. So 4/8 is equivalent to a half, and 8/8 is equivalent to 1 whole. When we talk about our number line and benchmark fractions of 0, a half, and a whole, understanding that concept of a fraction, and the denominator is how many equal parts there are, and the numerator is how many that are shaded in, that will really help you. And maybe you want to use that thinking in your summary. Bring that with you to school tomorrow, and I will check it then.